Hey guys, does this soup look good to you? I love this cheesy cowboy soup, and I'm going to show you how to make it in your Instant Pot. Make sure to watch the video all the way through to the end to see exactly how to make this awesome soup. All right, let's get started with the recipe. The first thing that you're going to do is turn on your Instant Pot to the saute setting. Now, every Instant Pot looks a little bit different, but you're going to find the button that says saute and make sure it's on the more setting. Mine, you can just cycle through less, normal, and more by clicking on the saute button. So we're going to want it on the more. All right, our Instant Pot already says hot, so we're going to start by adding in that ground beef. I like using one of these tools to just kind of break up the ground beef. It's very handy. And then I'm going to add in that onion with the beef while it's browning. And we'll just let that brown for about 5 minutes. This has been browning for about 5 minutes, so what I'm going to do now is drain any grease. And the way that I like to do this is just move the beef to the side here, and then any grease that is kind of like strenuous kind of just moves to this other side of the pot when you kind of gently like just tilt it. See all that grease? So then what I do is I grab a paper towel and I just sop up any grease that's coming down off of that meat. All right, and then I'm going to throw in my 3 cups of water. And I will turn off the Instant Pot saute setting by just pushing the cancel button. And make sure to scrape the bottom of the pot. If anything is sticking, you want to kind of just release that by using a saute paddle to kind of just get any brown bits off the bottom. This prevents the burn error message from coming on. Sometimes if there's something stuck to the bottom, the Instant Pot will keep giving you a burn message, and we don't want that. All right, perfect. Now we can move on with the recipe. We're going to be using this Better Than Bouillon roasted beef base today. It's one of my favorites, and I just get this big jar at Costco for the best deal, and I'm going to be using a whole tablespoon of that today, and that's going to give the base of the soup a lot of flavor. All right, and then we're going to start just dumping ingredients in. We're going to add in the corn and the beans. Add in the tomatoes. I like using petite diced tomatoes instead of regular diced just because I like the smaller chunks, but you use what you like at your house. And then we're going to add in a can of the diced green chilies and those potatoes that I cut up earlier. And now we'll add in our spices. So the cayenne, we're just going to use a tiny bit, so I'm just going to use like 1/8 of a teaspoon of that. That's spicy, so if you don't like spice, you might not want to use that. Now, you can always use less or more salt, like adjust it later. So I'm just going to use a 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt to begin with. If we need to add more in later, we can always add that in. And then the same with the pepper. We'll do a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. And then I like to use quite a bit. We'll use a teaspoon of the garlic powder and a teaspoon of cumin. Perfect. Now we're going to get this going by putting the lid on top and locking it into place. So sometimes it can be tricky for people, but you just kind of just set that here and then click it and lock it. Now this version of the Instant Pot, you don't have to set this to ceiling because it's already set to ceiling. Some of the Instant Pots, you're going to have to just manually just click over to the ceiling setting. And then you're going to want to push the soup button. And my soup button is right here. And I'm going to set this to only 4 minutes on the soup button. Now, if you don't have a soup button, you can use the pressure cook button, or yours might say manual, and you can use that instead. The soup is done cooking, so it has been sitting here for 7 minutes since it's been done. So anytime between 5 and 10 minutes, you can release the pressure. I'm gonna push my button, push my finger on this button and release any remaining pressure. All the pressure has come out of the pot, so now I'm gonna take the lid off. And looks pretty good in there. It's pretty thick, so what I'm going to do now is I'm gonna add in a can of evaporated milk. Thin that out a little bit. Then I'm gonna add in our 1 pound thing of Velveeta cheese, and I've cut that into cubes so that it will melt quicker. And I'm just gonna like stir that in for a minute or two and let that melt. All right, it takes just a couple minutes, but it should melt down and you should get this delicious looking, creamy Cowboy soup. And if you wanna add a special touch, then you can add in a package of these real bacon crumbles. I'm gonna add in half the package now and then let each individual person put a few pieces of bacon on their own bowl of soup on the top. I hope you guys love this soup as much as we do at our house and that you try out the recipe soon. You can find the whole recipe at 365daysofcrockpot.com and just go into the search bar and type in cheesy Cowboy soup. Thanks for joining me. I hope you subscribe to my channel and I will see you next time. Bye.